Everybody, welcome into Going Public. I am Harry McCullough. This week, we're going to talk about the airport and the Houma Terrebonne Airport Commission and the executive director, Ed Jarvis. Thanks so much for joining us, Ed. Airport's one of those things. A lot of people know this out there. Not a lot of people know exactly what's going on. So hopefully we'll, over the next 3 segments, learn a lot about some of the new stuff that's going on.
Sure. Yeah, I think, most people, when they think of airports, it's, hey, I'm going to catch a flight. And here in Houma, Terrebonne, we are doing general aviation. So either you have to own an airplane or you have to be a business that is under a charter type service. Or you can actually go out, and if you have the money, you can charter an airplane to take you wherever you want.
Yeah, we saw a lot of that during the Super Bowl, right? We had a lot of big stars coming through.
Yes, we had 187 airplanes come in.
So yeah, it's pretty cool.
That was quite a few. When you think 5 years prior to that, when we had the Super Bowl, we only had less than 20.
Yeah.
So
it's great. And then, we're going to talk about where we're headed over the next 10 or 15 years from now.
Right.
And look, I don't want to say Jetsons, but there will be a lot of unmanned aircraft and unpiloted aircraft that people will be taking out of here.
Yes, that seems to be where the future is going to be. It's like anything else. You're going to have to get folks to accept that mode of operation, and that's not going to be done overnight.
Right. And already one of the busier heliports in the country, right?
Yes. Depending on who you talk to, they say we're the busiest in the world. I don't know if that's just good boasting or if that is in fact the case, but I can tell you that we do about a little over 80,000 operations a year. And between our 2 biggest Part 135s, which are what we call on-demand charters, Bristol and PHI, they have almost 1 million folks that get on and get off a helicopter in a year. That is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, it really is.
In that right now, our airport is the second busiest next to New Orleans, and we have no commercial.
Right.
Yeah.
So. No, it's really amazing when you think about it. Look, it's got quite a history out there that now we're starting to add on to. Going all the way back to the blimps, and I'm sure
right.
You've heard the stories of the blimp base and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so. The airport obviously started during World War II, and I think it was like 1940 that somebody decided to make it a naval base, and as you said, put 6 K-size blimps, and I'm not even sure what the K stands for, but they obviously were pretty big. And then shortly after the war stopped, and so the U.S. Navy said, well, we don't need this base. And fortunately, the parish or the state got it for $1, with the understanding that if in the future anything happened, that the United States government could repossess. So we're kind of the caretakers.
Sure.
And like anything else, it's 2025. That concrete was laid in 1940. And so we have some projects coming up this year to basically take all that concrete out and put new concrete in. And because of the weight factor, our concrete is between 9 and 12 inches thick and can hold 150,000 pounds per wheel. And so it costs money because concrete is not cheap. And so we have 2 projects that are coming up there should be a slide on the
Yeah.
first one. So this is what we call taxiway Foxtrot. And taxiway Foxtrot, the red is the first phase that we did last year. And we've been trying to get money from both the state and the federal government to do essentially what we're going to do is, again, break it down into phases, because sometimes you just can't get all the money.
Sure.
And it's got to,
Do you have to replace it at 9 to 12 inches as well?
we are, yes. And in this case, this is a 50-foot wide. Most taxiways are only 35, but we wanted to keep the 50, so we're going to actually be paying out of pocket some of that ourselves.
I see.
And so that's the first project that we're going to be doing. And fortunately, we got all the money, so we're going to do phase 2 and 3 this year, and probably in June, bids will go out.
So estimated costs are right around $6.5 million.
That's correct.
And currently expecting, again, to be done in year 26?
Yeah,
Fiscal
I
year
think
26?
by the time it gets done, we'll, fiscal year,
Right.
end of September, so.
Right. We're almost there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to replace the 80-year-old concrete. There,
Right.
85-year-old
Yep.
concrete.
And we did the runway back in 2000, so, I mean, technically, usually every 20 years, you resurface that. But we had to make
Sure.
decisions on what was important, so.
Really interesting. And like I say, when you talk about the amount of traffic, the amount of people that come through there, it's real important for our economy and everything else.
It is.
So we're going to take a break, Ed. We'll be right back with more right here on Going Public.
Located at 5004 Imperial Drive in Houma, April and Iris is a must-see for those looking for exquisite home decor and gifts. Owned by April Boudreau, along with her talented design team, there is no lack of detail to enhance your shopping experience. April and Iris has all your decor needs.
Come in today and let us help you complete your design vision. It's what we do.
April and Iris, Homa's newest home interior and gift store, where decor and inspiration meet and fulfill all your design needs.
Sea Level Construction is a heavy civil contractor that provides turnkey services for the industrial and marine industries. From building large-scale infrastructure to installing the foundation for expansion projects, Sea Level and its family of companies offer a wide range of capabilities, including driven piles, drilled deep foundations, structural fabrication, structural concrete, marine construction, barge maintenance and repair, site work development, heavy equipment repair services, and electrical services. Call Sea Level Construction to set the foundations for your next big project.
Terrebonne Parish School District is now hiring bus drivers. A valid CDL is required. If you don't have a CDL, we have paid training available. You must be able to pass a medical health exam and a drug test. Our salary range is very competitive with similar jobs starting at $26 per hour. Benefits include free health insurance and retirement. Contact the TPSD Transportation Office at 876-7400 or apply online at www.tpsd.org.
A new company with a lot of history. GIS Engineering has rapidly grown its brand around an experienced team of professionals. GIS Engineering is a full-service planning, engineering, procurement, and construction management company specializing in coastal protection and restoration, upstream and downstream industrial, and transportation infrastructure projects. Putting people first, GIS Engineering, a new company with a lot of history.
Everybody, welcome back to Going Public. Harry McCullough here. We're speaking with Ed Jarvis, the executive director of the Houma Terrebonne Airport. And so we were talking about some of the new things that we're getting into updates since World War II, right?
Right. Well,
pretty cool. Which includes that Foxtrot, but actually you're going to do a west ramp and some of the other phases that are now
right.
planned, right?
So that west ramp is another area that the federal government gave us way back after they closed the
$1. That's a good deal.
the Navy, and so that whole project would have cost us a whole lot of money. And so you have to be realistic about how many phases, how much money can you really ask the government to give you and make it worthwhile to at least get the money versus saying, oh yeah, could you give me 25 million?
Right.
You know, that just doesn't happen. So the west ramp, again, 9 to 12 inches thick. And so we're going to be doing phase 1, but in our request, the government has lots of money for different airports. Not everybody is ready to accept the money. So what we've done is we've set ours up that if there's fallout money, say from
Shovel ready, right?
shovel ready, it's already, and then we can just amend our.
Can I ask you something, since we're talking about concrete? I know they had a lot of issues with the runways in New Orleans that I guess originally were built with almost some foam underneath those runways. I guess the new runway didn't do it. They were using pilings, I guess, instead. And they've had some buckling of the runways in New Orleans, the new airport. What about here? Do you have to do anything with the concrete underneath it to hold it up so it doesn't sink?
No, we don't. So the FAA, because federal money's involved, they have what they call an advisory circular. That's anybody in the public could go on the FAA site and download it. And it's very specific for anything you do on an airport. It'll even tell you the size screws, you know, if it's that type of project. And so that's what makes it challenging for local folks to bid on contracts, is if you've, in other words, let's just say you're a construction company that builds houses or commercials.
You can't do it.
You might be getting in over your head, because this is very specific to the types of concrete, what it has to have, even the angle of the slopes and stuff. And so as part of our request for proposal, we lay all that out so that the folks can make sure that they're up to that task, because that's a pretty expensive. Oh, geez, we didn't know.
Yeah. I just didn't know if, like I say, it was actually styrofoam, I think, that they put underneath those runways in New Orleans at one time. So pretty interesting here. So as we move on to the process, and again, that one is shovel ready, and the year, again, hopefully you'll be putting work in at the end of fiscal year 26.
Yeah, that is another one that should go out in June for soliciting bids. And those will be the two major projects that we're doing at the airport for FY 25-26.
All right, so let's look at some of the project process, and you'll see where the different phases are as we take a look at this map.
Yeah, basically, I'm not going to go through each one of these, but when we are looking at updating what we call our master plan for the airport, we do that about every 10 to 15 years. And what this is we look to see where do we expect the airport, in which direction. And so there's a planning process. And because there's federal and state money, the first big hurdle is environmental. If you haven't done an environmental, that project's not going anywhere.
Right.
So we go through, we come up with this huge plan on what we want to see. We solicit groups of individuals in the community to be a part of that, to come to HTAC, to sit in, to get the briefing, that they're getting to see what our vision is. They can make comments about it, and then another group is technical folks. And again, we go through a briefing. They give us ideas. Maybe they don't understand something. And then we take all that information, and that's how we roll out the plan.
So that phase is what called? That's the current phase.
Yeah. So right now we're into phase 2, and we're doing a assessment of all the facilities at the airport. You talked earlier about the UAS. That's going to be a big player this next time. We're hoping down the road that you'll be able to come to Houma, park your car, go through TSA, get into a Uber type without a pilot, okay? That'll be a big hurdle. And then it will automatically take off, take you to, for example, New Orleans International, put you already into the security side because you've already got security. You'll just take your bags. It'll be like changing a plane. You'll go in and go to your next gate, and off you go.
That would be amazing. And that's the future, right?
That's the future, and that's what we're hoping for. And again, we're going to have to talk to people, and they're going to want to see how successful.
How we're going to do that, right?
Yep.
All right. We'll just take one more break when we come back, and then when we do come back, we're going to talk about that master plan and what's ahead. So stay with us right here on Going Public.
A new company with a lot of history. GIS Engineering has rapidly grown its brand around an experienced team of professionals. GIS Engineering is a full-service planning, engineering, procurement, and construction management company specializing in coastal protection and restoration, upstream and downstream industrial, and transportation infrastructure projects. Putting people first, GIS Engineering, a new company with a lot of history.
In South Louisiana, storms are a way of life. Every storm poses a different threat, whether from flooding or hurricane-force winds. At All South Consulting Engineers, we help protect our people from these disasters. Before a storm, we work with our leaders to prevent catastrophic damage. After the storm, we help get the resources needed for rebuilding. We have helped our cities, parishes, and school boards recover over $2 billion to rebuild our community. We'll be here for the next one.
Led by a 7-member commission, the Terrebonne Port was created to assist our local industry in promoting economic development. We monitor government regulations that affect our local industry and work with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to secure maintenance dredging funds. Because the HNC is the main artery for the heartbeat of Terrebonne's economy, Terrebonne Port fights a constant battle for funding to maintain the federally authorized navigable depth. We are now leasing waterfront and non-waterfront property. Terrebonne Port Commission, serving our industry to keep Terrebonne thriving.
Sea Level Construction is a heavy civil contractor that provides turnkey services for the industrial and marine industries. From building large-scale infrastructure to installing the foundation for expansion projects, Sea Level and its family of companies offer a wide range of capabilities including driven piles, drilled deep foundations, structural fabrication, structural concrete, marine construction, barge maintenance and repair, site work development, heavy equipment repair services, and electrical services. Call Sea Level Construction to set the foundations for your next big project.
Located at 5004 Imperial Drive in Houma, April and Iris is a must-see for those looking for exquisite home decor and gifts. Owned by April Boudreau, along with her talented design team, there is no lack of detail to enhance your shopping experience. April and Iris has all your decor needs.
Come in today and let us help you complete your design vision. It's what we do.
April and Iris, Houma's newest home interior and gift store, where decor and inspiration meet and fulfill all your design needs.
Everybody, welcome back to Going Public. Harry McCullough here. Ed Jarvis is the Executive Director of the Houma Terrebonne Airport Commission. So yeah, we talked about a master plan, and so the last segment, why don't you take us through that master plan and where we're headed?
Yeah, so the master plan, like anything, when you're going to spend money, somebody wants to make sure you have a plan and not a whim. So basically, the master plan is a comprehensive document that sets what we're going to do over the next 20 years in developmental plans for the airport. You know, it's to ensure that we're not asking for something that's outlandish. And part of the master plan is what we give the state and the federal government so that they buy into it, because ultimately they're going to help us pay for this. And, you know, technology and things change so quickly that every 5 to 10 years, we're actually looking to update our master plan because progress is just moving rampant. We all want to make sure that our airport is serving our aviation customers. Let's say, for example, somebody decides that they, in fact, do want to bring in a commercial airline. Well, do we have the capacity? Did we have enough forethought to make our runways long enough to do that? And that's what this plan does. And by getting information from the public and stuff, look, most airports are the economic drivers of their communities. It would be, I would love for me to be able to get FedEx in here to deliver packages and stuff like that. So that's part of what we talk about is that a viable option?
Sure. When our companies want to relocate, one of the first things they want to know is the airport. Can I work with that airport? For sure. So the major goals and primary purpose of the next line.
Right. And so when you're developing, obviously it has to be, you know, a safe operation and stuff like that. We have a few challenges extending our runway because we kind of do have a bayou that goes through there. But you know what? We're not the first to have that issue, and there are ways around it. Some of them are more costly, and that's part of what this planning is what we're thinking we're going to do. Is this something that we can afford to do? And does it make sense? And if you're thinking of going from a general aviation to a more sophisticated Part 139, these are things you need to look at, especially if you bring in airlines, then you got to bring in other companies that service that, and do you have the room? So that's all part of kind of taking a sheet of paper and looking and redesigning it. I mean, there are places that have totally revamped, tore buildings down just to revamp, and I was a part of that in Vancouver.
I got you.
Yeah, so that's all this is, and we try to do the best guess estimate on, you know, where we're going to be in 5, 10
forecast,
and then we float it.
So let's go back and go back to the unmanned crafts as we were talking about, and where the future might be with that. It almost be like an Uber-like thing. But I was always in the impression it was just going to bring guys offshore. You're saying more to bring people to the airport or bring to other.
I think that's initially how it's going to go. Initially, it'll be cargo going out. After they've done a lot of cargo, like 1 million hours, then you might
put a person in there.
Might talk a person into, because he or she has seen that this has been going on a long time. And the other problem that we have, and we talked about it earlier with housing costs and stuff, a lot of our workforce is driving in from long distances. Well, what if instead of driving all the way to Houma, I could go to Lake Charles, leave my car there, take one of the company Ubers to take me to Houma. I could sleep on the way, don't have to worry about parking, and vice versa. So,
yeah, I thought it was interesting where we were talking about air levels. You know, obviously airliners are up 25 to 30,000 feet. Personal jets are above that.
Yes.
And then these would be above probably 4,000, you were saying?
Yeah, I think they would be under 4,000 feet. But that's all part of, not only are we designing this new aircraft, but we got to work on the airway structure, because right now it's not like the Wright brothers didn't have to worry about running into anybody because they were the only
Nobody
guys
out
in the
there,
air.
right.
There's a lot of things going on.
Sure.
And so there's like 4
Drones,
so
delivery
there-
drones.
So
those
there's a
kind of things.
lot of different folks working different parts
Well,
of this problem
yeah.
to make it work safely.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. And look, I mean, we're about to wrap
Yep.
up. So I do appreciate all that. That's the future, and that's part of what you guys are trying to figure out now.
Yep.
So Ed Jarvis, appreciate all the knowledge today.
Thank you.
All right. That's Going Public for this edition. I'm Harry McCullough. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.